Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. Today it is time to film my October TBR. You may notice completely different filming location. This is my first time filming in my new place. It feels weird. I've not definitely decided this is going to be the setup I'm sticking with, but we'll see how it goes. You will also see, I will just mention, over the next couple of weeks I have still got a few videos that I filmed before I moved that I haven't had time to edit and upload for you yet, so they will still be coming, so if the view changes, that's why. Right, but without further ado, let's get on to my TBR. This will be my third month using my Cluedo cards to help me pick my TBR. But first of all, I better update you on what happened in September. September was not a great reading month for me. I'm going to go into more detail when I do my stats video for you, which I'll probably also be filming today. But yeah, I didn't read a lot. So I finished 2 of the books that were on the list, so that was good. I'm about halfway through Jade City, which was one of the picks, and then I didn't even manage a chapter of Agatha Christie's autobiography, and I didn't start Ruth at all. What I'm going to try and do, as I've not really read any of Agatha Christie's biography and I've not read any of Ruth, sorry, just playing with the lighting there. What I will do with these two is if I can fit them into this month's TBR as well, I will. And for the moment, the categories that they represent are retired because for all 3 of these, the cards are still in there because they're my bookmarks. Yeah, so that means I have to pick an extra book this month, which is slightly worrying considering I barely got through any books last month, but never mind. So I'm going to start with my mystery card that I picked last month. That will be my first category, my bonus one, so I've got to pick 6 books this month. So that is Rope. Hold it that way so you can see my face still. That is Rope. So Rope is classics, so that's actually helpful because then I can use Ruth for this one. So Ruth is a classic novel. It's a novel by Elizabeth Gaskell. It's one of the oldest from my TBR that I didn't manage to read last month. That is good to get that straight away. That's going to be one of my books for this month. Okay, right, so that's a helpful start. So now I've got to pick 5 more. Let's check all the cards are the right way. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to shuffle them. Okay, and my next card is the Candlestick. That Candlestick is historical fiction. Okay, I think this will count. So this was a book I was sent for my birthday by Stephanie from the channel Miss Richards Reads. This is called The Map of Salt and Stars by Zeyn Joukhadar, which I probably have said wrong. He is a trans author. The book you can see is published under a different name. I'm not sure if that's the pen name or his dead name, so I'm not going to say it. So this is set in Syria across 2 timelines. So one is in 2011, which is relatively recent, but then the other one is set 800 years before that. I've been wanting to read more books from trans authors. This one I think will count as historical fiction. It was very kindly sent to me for my birthday, so I'm very excited to pick this one up. So we will use this one for the Candlestick. Okay, next card. Ooh. Don't drop them, shuffling them again. Okay, next we have The Hall, which is a new release. So I had one of these last month. I think, oh, I've got 2. Oh, which one to pick? I spent some time reorganising my bookshelves earlier and I need to redo it because I'm now just going to pull everything off the shelves so that I can get the books I want out. So this is a decision about whether I want to make my life harder or easier. I have 2 options for this. Okay, so my 2 choices, I'm going to tell you, are Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty. I bought this with the gift voucher I was given when I left work, and Incendiary by Zoraida, Cordova, which is our book club pick for October. To be sensible, I mean, this is a chunky book and I really do want to read it soon. But as I've got extra books to read, and I have to read this one for book club anyway, I think I'm going to use this one for my new release pick. Be sensible, because this is quite chunky too. Yeah, let's be sensible. We're going to use Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova and hope that we don't regret that. If I get another one that I could have used for this, I won't be pleased. This is going well. It's going okay. Okay, next card is, I'm going to take that back. Okay, forget what I just said. We're going to use the Hall card to read Empire of Gold. I can do this, I'm making up the rules. And then Mrs. White is a diverse read, so we're going to use Mrs. White to read Incendiary. Zoraida Cordova, I believe, is Ecuadorian originally. yeah, she was originally from Ecuador and now lives in America, so she's a Latina author. I think I can probably count this for Ecuador for Read Around the World as well, so that's really good. Empire of Gold, which I'm going to now read for my new release, is the final book in the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. I finished Kingdom of Copper in August. I had to wait to buy this until after my birthday just because it was on my wish list in case anyone else got it for me, so I've been really looking forward to getting back into the series and picking this up. So that's what we're going to do. I can't believe I'm putting a book this size on my TBR when I've got so many that I'm trying to fit in. Anyway, okay, right, never mind. Let's carry on. Okay. Next we have Revolver, which is a mystery or thriller. Okay, I'm going to pick something really short for this. We're going to go for Secret Adversary, or Adversary, depending on how you want to say that, by Agatha Christie. This is the first book in the Tommy and Tuppence series, and it's also another one of the oldest books on my TBR, so it'll be really helpful to read this one too. It is just over 200 pages, so hopefully will be quite a quick read. I've heard lots of good things about this series. I've not read any of this particular series of hers before, so that is that one. Right, so that means I've got one more book to pick, doesn't it? Yes. Okay, one more. And it's okay, we can do this. Bearing in mind that it's already the 3rd of October and I've still got to finish Jade City as well. Never mind. Right, okay. Next one is Dining Room. So that is something that relates to food. Okay, so this is a good opportunity for me to actually put this officially on a TBR. This is round about £1 a week by Pember's Reeves, which I was going to read for my Read Around the World book in September but didn't have time for it. Again, it's not a very long book, so hopefully that will be helpful. The title, round about £1 a week, is related to the idea of how much people would have to spend on food. So that is the link to food. So this is a Persephone book, and actually at the moment, at time of filming, Ninja Book Box are hosting a Persephone read-along for a couple of weeks, so I might try and pick this up quite quickly so that I can join in with that as well. These are my 6 books that are on my official TBR for the month of October. I've covered Read Around the World in 2 of these books. I've got 2 books that are oldest from my TBR, so that will help with both of those challenges. I'm also including a trans author, which is exciting because I'm trying to read more of them. I've got my book club book in there too, so that's really helpful. For the classics book club that I'm in, they've picked Dracula to read this month, which I've read before and don't want to read again, and actually I am still reading Wuthering Heights, which was last month's pick, so I'm just going to carry on with that. And I've got 2 classics on here from my definition of classics, which is basically books published before about 1950. The top and the bottom one, the Persephone one, and the Elizabeth Gaskell count for that. Then I will also be trying to finish a couple of books that I've currently got ongoing. So I already mentioned I'm about a chapter into Agatha Christie's biography. I now don't have the pressure to finish that this month actually, which is quite helpful because I think it's going to take me a while to get through. I also started but didn't get very far with Saving Lucas Biggs, which was the Voltathon group book, so I will be trying to finish that too, but again, I'm not going to put pressure on myself to read that. And then I currently have out as an ebook from the library Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, which is a memoir. It's quite a short one as well, so I've got that out for a couple of weeks as an ebook, so I will be trying to get through that. And then obviously finishing Jade City is my top priority. The live show was meant to be today on day of filming, but we've had to postpone it, so that will be next week now, and I should have finished that by then. Okay, so I was just reshelving all my books, having done a load of filming this afternoon, and I literally just realised that I picked 3 weapons cards in my TBR, which means that I have to pick an extra book. And I now realise I've just picked up my phone to film this, so I only have one hand, which means I can't shuffle the cards very well. And I'm really hoping that this isn't a room card, because then that would be 3 room cards and then I'd have to pick another book. So here we go. Ready? Whew. Okay, so Miss Scarlet. So this is a book with a romance plot line. I can see a book on my shelf that I can read for this that is quite short, because that would be really helpful. Okay, so my extra book is going to be The Cursed Hunter by Bethany Atazadeh. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I'm assuming it's going to have a romance plot line. This will be the 7th book on my TBR for October. I only read 5 books in September, so yeah, this is going to be fun. Great. Right, I'm going to fit this in somewhere in the video, don't know where, but anyway, back to me. So last thing that I have to do then is to pick a card to go into the mystery card for next month. So I'm going to close my eyes. I managed to avoid seeing it So I'm closing my eyes now. I'm going to hold up the card there. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm now putting it in the envelope so that when I'm editing, I'll know that it's in the envelope so I won't see it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that is my TBR for October. I'm pretty happy with that. One more book that I'm going to start this month, but it's not going to be one that I'm going to finish necessarily right away, is I don't have an anthology on the go at the moment because I finished the short story collection I was reading, so I'm going to pick up this poetry collection, I See a New City by Gerard Kelly. He heads up a charity that I've done some work with in the past and writes some really powerful and poignant poems, and this is his new book, his latest book, which came out earlier this year. So I'm going to pick this up for my anthology. This will also help me in the indie challenge because poetry collection is one of the few squares I have left, as it is a women's press, which this one will help me tick off. So if I can read both of these books, then I'll have completed the indie challenge, which will be really exciting. That's all the books. That's the card picked for next time. So I think that's all. As you can tell, I'm a little bit out of practice with filming, so please bear with me while I get used to it again. That's all the books. Let me know if you've read any of them, what you thought of them, anything that you're also going to be reading this month. Yeah, so have a chat to me about any of that down in the comments. You can also follow me on my social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm a bit behind on my Instagram posts, but I'm going to try and catch up with my mini book reviews today and get them all up to date, so you can see more up to date stuff about what I'm reading on Twitter and on Instagram, and also on Goodreads is the best place to go if you want up to the minute news about what books I'm reading and what I think of them. But that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!